Hi, class. Today I'm going to read Little Red Riding Hood by Claire Black. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived with her parents in a little house at the edge of the woods. Her grandmother lived in a beautiful little house deep within the woods. She really loved her grandmother and enjoyed making her new clothes. It asks the question, what did the grandmother like to make? The answer, new clothes. One day, when the little girl was visiting, her grandmother gave her a beautiful new cape. It was made from red velvet and had a large hood. The little girl liked it so much, she wore it all the time. From that day on, she became known as Little Red Riding Hood. Why was the little girl called Little Red Riding Hood? Because she wore the cape all the time, the red velvet cape. One day, Little Red Riding Hood's mother said, "Your grandmother is not feeling very well, so I have put some things in a basket to cheer her up." Little Red Riding Hood jumped up and said, "Please, can I take it to grandmother?" Her grandmother agreed and gave her the basket. Little Red Riding Hood turned and waved goodbye to her mother. Her mother called out to remind her not to talk to strangers on the way. Little Red Riding Hood loved the woods. She liked to skip along with the birds and butterflies. Sometimes she'd stop and pick some flowers for her grandmother. Where did Little Red Riding Hood like to skip? Let's see. She skipped along with the birds and butterflies in the woods. Now, a wicked wolf who lived in the woods saw Little Red Riding Hood and licked his lips. The wolf went up to Little Red Riding Hood and asked her where she was going. "I'm going to see my grandmother," she said. Oh, that wolf looks scary. "She isn't feeling very well, and my mother has picked this basket with some things for her," she continued. Little Red Riding Hood then told the wolf exactly where her sick grandmother lived. The wolf said goodbye and ran off into the woods. Let me ask you, was that very smart of Little Red Riding Hood to tell the wolf, who she doesn't even know, where her sick grandmother lives? I don't think so. So let's see what happens. Let's continue. The wolf thought of a wicked plan. He took a shortcut to the grandmother's house and knocked on the door. Little Red Riding Hood's grandmother called out, "Come on in, the door is open." Who did grandmother think was at the door? I bet she thought Little Red Riding Hood was at the door, don't you? Yeah, probably. Let's see. When grandmother saw the wolf, she was very scared. The wolf was about to jump on her. She leapt out of bed and ran for her life. The wolf chased grandmother around the house. Roar. That's probably the sound that the wolf would make. And the grandmother does look very scared, doesn't she? Finally, the wolf got very tired and grandmother was able to escape. She hid in the cupboard. Where did grandmother hide? That's right, in the cupboard. That's her hiding in the cupboard there. And the wolf looks very tired. The wolf put on grandmother's clothes. He put on her spare glasses and climbed into her bed. Then he lay waiting for Little Red Riding Hood to arrive. Oh boy, there's the wolf right there. Who is he pretending to be? Oh, he's pretending to be the grandmother. That's right. Soon, Little Red Riding Hood reached the house and went up to the door. She was surprised to see that it was open, and she called out to her grandmother. No one answered, so she stepped inside and saw her grandmother lying in the bed. Little Red Riding Hood thought her grandmother looked a bit strange. "Oh, grandmother, what large ears you have!" said Little Red Riding Hood. "All the better to hear you with, my dear," the wolf replied. "Oh, grandmother, what big eyes you have!" she said. "All the better to see you with, my dear," the wolf replied. Oh my goodness, that wolf looks extremely scary, and Little Red Riding Hood is very scared. Little Red Riding Hood moved a little closer. "Oh, grandmother, what big teeth you have!" she said. "All the better to eat you with," said the wolf, and he leapt out of bed. Little Red Riding Hood screamed, "Ah!" As the wolf chased Little Red Riding Hood, she kept screaming for help. A woodcutter working nearby heard her screams. "Ah! Ah!" He rushed towards the little house with his axe. Oh goodness, he's going after the wolf with the axe. The woodcutter saw the wolf chasing Little Red Riding Hood. He raised his axe and with one swing, he killed the wolf. Little Red Riding Hood heard someone shouting, "Help! Help!" Little Red Riding Hood knew it was her grandmother. She helped her grandmother out of the cupboard and gave her a huge hug. "Thank you for rescuing my granddaughter," grandmother said to the woodcutter. Where was Little Red Riding Hood's grandmother? You guessed it. She was coming out of the cupboard. Once again, remember she went in there earlier. There's Little Red Riding Hood. Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother then asked the woodcutter to come in. They all sat down to eat. And there's the grandmother smiling. They emptied the basket and enjoyed the delicious cake with some tea. "I'm feeling much better now," said grandmother to Little Red Riding Hood. I bet you she is. And there's Little Red Riding Hood again with the birds. Never again did she talk to strangers in the woods. And that is the end of Little Red Riding Hood. I really enjoyed reading that story, and I hope you enjoyed it too. So, what did Little Red Riding Hood do wrong in the story that caused all this trouble? You guessed it, she talked to strangers. So, in case any little kids are listening to this story, maybe as a bedtime story, don't talk to strangers. In this story, by talking to strangers, the grandmother was almost eaten by the big bad wolf, as well as Little Red Riding Hood. And it's a good thing that the woodcutter was there in the woods to help them. It's a good thing that the woodcutter heard them yelling, hollering for help, and he came with the axe just in time. So don't talk to strangers. Give this video a thumbs up and write any comments in the comments section about this story. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next one, Lord willing. Thanks for watching. Bye. And share this video on your social media. Let me go back to the main screen where it has the name of the title. Okay. I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.